June 4th, 2023. Not a lot going on this week. I would say this is not the busiest week in the skies, but that doesn't mean that it should be a quiet week down here for us. In fact, I would consider it to be a bit of an opportunity for some good stuff to happen this week because we don't have the celestial winds at our back, perhaps, but neither do we have much in the way of cosmic headwinds. So this ought to be a time when you can get a lot of stuff done. And as I said in the June forecast, this is probably the time to do it. You want to do it in the first half of the month. And I would say this week is especially good. We're waning from the full moon into the last quarter moon. So it's the more active part of the waning cycle. And generally speaking, I would say that this is the time to maybe wrap stuff up so that you can have some free time in the summer or even in the second half of June. So we start the week on Sunday, really still at the Sagittarius full moon. It's a little past its prime, but we're still feeling the energy quite strongly. The moon goes on to square Neptune in Pisces. That's nice. That's nice. That sort of suggests that Sunday let serendipity rule. Venus is at the very, very last degree of Cancer. That may have a little bit more of a feel to it of family stuff and a little more of the traditionalism. But you know what? Really, you can just do what you want to do. It really should be a very, very nice day for anything, sort of open season for whatever you want to do. Then on Monday, the moon goes into Capricorn and we have a much more work-oriented vibe through midweek. So it would be a good idea to, use the first 3 days of the week productively. The only thing is we have one little thing. Well, it's not so little actually happening on Monday. First of all, Venus strides into Leo, leaves behind the Cancerian stuff, moves into Leo. Great time of the year when Venus is in Leo. This is the gatherings at the beach. This is the rooftop parties. This is the theater in the park. This is the, open screen, like at night you're outside and you're watching a movie type of thing. It's a fun time of year. It's really should just be a good time. This year, however, Venus is approaching her retrograde. She's going to be in Leo until the end of September or something like that. It's for months. The thing is, she's going to be in Leo because she's retrograding. And so her speed starts to slow down before the retrograde. And then, of course, we have the retrograde. So there's a little bit of reevaluation and reconsidering going on in terms of what gives us joy, our relationships, and also finances. So that is maybe going to sort of put a little bit of a different feel to Venus in Leo this year. We'll still have Venus in Leo, and that's still good. The retrograde is a whole other issue. We'll do a video on that in a little bit, but in a few weeks, in July. But we're probably not looking at the most dramatic Venus in Leo. It's still going to be pretty good. Still going to be very good. So let's not worry about that now. What we're going to have to deal with in the short term is the fact that Venus's first activity in Leo, less than like 2 hours after she gets into the sign, is an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. Now, this aspect is not going to be in place for long. It's a quick one, right? It's really Monday. And I would say actually the early part of Monday. Once it gets past, it gets past. Pluto is about to retrograde out of Aquarius. We're not having a lot of aspects that are going to really stir this up during the week. The Aquarius moon towards the end of the week can maybe give it a little bit of a reheat, but not by a tremendous amount. But Monday, this Venus-Pluto opposition. On a personal level, this could be the difference between, let's say, do we want to go out just you and me on a date, Venus and Leo, or do we want to do a group activity? That's the Aquarian side of things. Or do we just want to have fun, day at the beach? Or do we want to go to that lecture on that political thing or something along those lines, right? Pluto and Aquarius, something like that. Of course, this is happening on Monday. It's not in effect on Sunday. This will not affect Sunday because Venus is still in a different sign. It's Monday, so very likely, very likely we're not terribly concerned about socializing and stuff. I mean, if you can get out on Monday to socialize and decide what you're going to do, hey, that's great. But, a lot of folks are going to be at work. And that Capricorn moon says, even if you're not at work, you ought to be doing something. So maybe that's not the thing. Venus opposite Pluto, however, really, really poor time to have anything assessed or appraised. Very hard to get the valuation on something. Okay, it's a tough time if you're dealing with like getting a loan or something along those lines. Not great for business deals. So there's this kind of tension that goes into this aspect if you're dealing with any really finances. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the markets. They responded very well last week to, well, astrologically they responded really well to the conjunction of Jupiter and the North Node in Taurus. Really good for finances. But and let's say that optimism sort of helped the U.S. debt ceiling issues work out, and so that was a good end to last week. Now there's Venus Pluto opposition. It could be much more of the same, or it could be a real big change and a sort of a shifting back and a cautious kind of thing. So we'll see what happens there financially. We'll probably see other things that are falling out financially as well. And well, I mean, Venus and Leo, we may see there may be some interesting story about a celebrity or something like that. But we don't do that here. There's other good channels for that stuff. Mostly because I don't know many celebrities very well anymore. So that is Monday. Capricorn moon telling you to work, Venus Pluto opposition suggesting a little bit of tension as described, and it's just Monday. It's just Monday. The thing is, though, of course, the first thing that Venus does when she gets into Leo, I mean, it's like, it's like arriving at a hotel, a really nice hotel, by the beach, let's say, because it's Leo. And so she just arrives, and the first thing is that she gets this really tense message from work. Or, there's a big problem at the hotel and they have to move her room or something like that. It kind of just gives that sort of funky feel when you first start doing something and you get this opposition to you. And so it kind of colors Venus's stay in Leo only by the association with that first few moments when she's into the sign. After next week, Pluto will be back in Capricorn. It's a whole other story, but we'll deal with that next week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Capricorn moon, great time to wrap things up, finish up stuff, work, deal with any projects that need to be done at work or at home. Towards the end of the week, we have the Aquarius moon, good for socializing, kind of pops up that whole Venus Pluto opposition just a little bit. And then maybe it is more Thursday, Friday when we start to say to ourselves, well, now what do we want to do? Do we want to go out and just the two of us or some big group activity? Or do we want to just go have fun, or do something purposeful? That kind of stuff. I mean, maybe I just want to go home and hang by myself, or maybe I want to go take a walk by the beach. Venus and Leo, but maybe I should really be going out with my coworkers for happy hour. Pluto in Aquarius. Okay, so that's the little bit of a thing at the end of the week, but it's not really much, and you want to be able to figure that sort of stuff out without any problems. Last quarter moon is on Saturday. It's in Pisces. It's an active time. It's a time of assessment, but it's Pisces, so it's a little bit more internal, a little bit more thinking about how you feel about things, thinking about what you want to do. A little bit more of the kind of let stuff go. It's active, but it's internally active. It'll be a great day for meditation and so on. And that is the 10th. The 11th which is next Sunday, is a power packed day. There's a lot of stuff going on that day. The only thing that really we're going to mention this week, but you want to tune in for next week's forecast because there's a lot going on in the 11th and sort of for and the following week. It's not the easy flowing type of thing that we have this week. Next Sunday, Venus is going to square Jupiter. And we'll feel this throughout the weekend. This would be Friday night, Saturday night, and then into Sunday when the aspect is exact. And squares are tense, but Venus is in Leo, which both planets love, and they love each other. Venus and Jupiter love each other. Jupiter is in Venus's home sign of Taurus, where he's very comfy, and of course he's in his friend's house, so it's all good. There could be, are we going to do more? Really, with a Pisces moon, I would say the big risk there is overindulgence. It's not so much a matter of if there's any, are we going to do this or are we going to do that? It's probably internal, and it's probably sort of like, do I want to go out, Venus and Leo, or do I want to just sort of stay in, and enjoy myself and just do my own thing? It's maybe a little bit more the Jupiter and Taurus. It is hardly, it is hardly an issue. So we have two good weekends. The first weekend in June is characterized by the full moon in Sagittarius. The second weekend in June is the last quarter moon in Pisces with this Venus-Jupiter aspect. Good stuff. Next weekend, we have a Saturn station, the weekend of the 17th, but we will get to that, next week. Hope to see you then.